Philadelphia, on the run, stand up and cheer. Number one, Philadelphia, here they come. Team of the
Phillies! Hello, everybody. Hello, Philadelphia. Welcome back once again to another edition of the Wolves of Broad Street podcast. As always, I'm Ryan Conway, joined here by my esteemed partner, Sam Glavin. And you know we got James G behind the glass producing the show. This episode is brought to you by Wide Plank Floor Supply. They also recently sponsored our new logo, which we all really enjoy, and we hope you do too. Sam, tell us a little bit about Wide Plank Floor Supply.
Yeah, Wide Plank Floor Supply supplies all your hardwood flooring needs. Be sure to check out their website at wideplankfloorsupply.com.
Yeah, they did a fantastic job helping us find this new logo. You know, a lot of elements we really like about it. You know, got to have the Liberty Bell in there. Kelly Green, show
Absolutely.
the birds a little love. You know, this is truly a football town, so we really want to showcase that, you know. Not get too many colors, not get it too busy. I really think what we've got going right now is really speaks for the show.
So let's get right into it, Conway, with our Philly 5. I'll let you do the honors.
All right, so for our Philly 5 this week, we have got the top 5 sports movies. These are in no particular order, but let's go. Tin Cup, Kevin Costner, classic. Caddyshack, classic. Slapshot, little under the radar pick, but I love that movie. Mighty Ducks, because who doesn't love Mighty Ducks?
That's a great movie.
And Air Bud.
That's questionable.
How is Air Bud a questionable pick? How does that not go in your top 5 sports movies?
It's a dog.
But
don't get me wrong. I love dogs. I'm not a hater. Shout out Darby, my dog. It's just I don't see how you can put it into into this top 5 because I'm about to outdo you with my list here.
Well, just before you get going, Air Bud has a higher 3-point percentage than Ben Simmons. So
That's totally fair.
yeah. So,
But that's also not saying much. So I'm gonna go ahead and top you. On my
all
list
right. Let's see it.
So my Philly 5 top 5 sports movies are Glory Road, Surf's Up, Miracle, Major League, and The Sandlot.
I mean, that's a good list.
It's a fantastic list.
That's a very strong list, but I don't think it's better than mine.
I disagree.
I haven't even seen Glory Road. What is that?
It's a basketball movie. It's about the first black men to ever play in the NCAA. It's a great movie.
That sounds like a good movie. I should probably check out.
The lead actor, his name escapes me, but it's about Coach Don Haskins.
Yeah,
he's the first guy to bring in African American basketball players into the NCAA, and they win the title.
Oh,
yeah, Texas Western University. Yeah, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
It's a great movie. You should check it out.
Absolutely.
I actually haven't seen a couple of movies on your list.
You haven't? Which
No,
ones?
I haven't seen Tin Cup.
Oh, dude.
And I haven't seen Slapshot.
Slapshot is a classic movie. My dad showed it to me when I was
Yeah, you
like
said
14,
we were talking
15.
about it. We were talking about it earlier. You kind of said it was like Major League, but for hockey.
Yeah, pretty much.
But Major League is probably my favorite baseball movie.
Oh,
of all
Major
time,
League's
so
Major League is a great movie.
I
kind of forgot about it when I was making this list, which is
find-
a little criminal.
Yeah, I find myself referencing Major League a lot when I'm on the baseball diamond.
Oh,
You know,
I don't see why you wouldn't. I mean, it's tailor made for stuff like that.
absolutely. Yeah, it's just it's an all-time classic.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of baseball.
No, don't go there.
Yep.
Don't go there.
We have to.
Please don't.
Sam, I know you don't want to. I don't want to either. But we're at a point in our lives where we just have to accept this current reality. I, of course, am talking about the Phillies. Sam, buddy.
No.
Don't give me that look, pal. Chin up, brother.
We're going to be beating a dead horse here, Conrad.
I know, but it's honestly a little fun at this point.
Yeah, you're right. Let's get into it.
Absolutely. Let's go. What are your takes about the Phillies right now? I'm curious to see.
At this point, I think that the Phillies should tank the rest of the season.
Really? Why would you do
Because
that?
I don't want to give the front office any kind of satisfaction for any kind of run that they make at the end of the season, because they're just going to come out with the excuse, oh, but we made the playoffs. No. This has been an unsatisfactory season, and making the playoffs would just reward the front office, and we don't need that. We need a clean sweep, the front office. Everybody, don't let the door hit you on the way out. All right, we're done. It's time for a new regime to come in, and by tanking the rest of the season, we're not getting anybody's hopes up. and we just need to start fresh. We just need to start fresh.
When was the last time the Phillies got your hopes up this season?
Every game they play.
Why at this point?
Because
you know what
I'm
they are.
a baseball guy, and I know anything can happen in baseball. And you've seen it with the Mets. We talked about it last episode. The Mets won 13 of 14 of their last games, and now they're on another 8-game win streak.
That's ridiculous. We haven't had longer than a 4-game win streak all season, and we've only had a 4-game win streak twice.
Yeah.
And both of those, well, one of them came at the beginning of the season, and then the next one, there might have been another one. So 2 to 3 4-game win streaks. That's still not enough. At least one of them came off of a 7-game losing streak.
Exactly.
That was when we swept the Mets after like those 2 nightmare weekends in June.
And everybody thought, the season's turning around. No. It's like we're embarrassed by the Dodgers, and then we swept the Mets, who at the time were literally a nobody, and they didn't look to be in this race at all. And now here they are ahead of us in the wild card. Yeah. Let me just emphasize, the Mets.
The Mets are ahead of us in the wild card. Like, people have talked to me about this Phillies team. People that definitely consider themselves baseball fans and know more about baseball than I do for sure. But they've been like, why are you so disappointed with the Phillies? Aren't they only a game out of the wild card? I'm like, it's not the results anymore that bother me. It's the way that this organization is run, and it's the way that we as fans are treated by the front office and the manager as though we're idiots or something. That's what bothers me so much, because we can all see the lacking product on the field. Everybody can see it. And in Philadelphia, we're a knowledgeable fan base, all right? We're not just like, we're happy. Like, so of course, everybody loves going down to the ballpark, so people aren't going to not go to the games. But when they're there, they can see it. It's not like we have no clue what we're watching. We're just happy to be involved. No, we are a city that expects results and expects the game to be played the right way. And we're just not getting that from this Phillies team at all.
Yeah, man, this ain't the West Coast.
No.
This is Philadelphia.
No, yeah, it's like the Phillies mean something so much to this town. And they're really not showing the respect to the fans.
The front office is just, they really just act like the whole fan base are idiots. Like, we don't know what we're talking about.
It's insulting.
It's really, it's awful. It's awful. They seem to care less than the fans, which is an issue. It's a huge issue. They came out with the quote, we make the playoffs. If we don't, we don't. That's almost word for word what they said.
I hate those guys.
It's brutal.
I hate them so much. My blood boils when I think about this Phillies team. When I talk about them, I want to rip my hair out. I hate them. I hate them so much.
It's when we think of the doghouse, right? We're talking about the doghouse segment. I want to put everybody on the Phillies in the doghouse.
I'm sick of talking about the Phillies in the doghouse. They're just in there. They got their own doghouse. The whole Phillies, all of them.
Permanent residency in the doghouse.
Absolutely. Every single one of those, somebody on that team is doing something wrong. I'm talking top of the organization all the way down to the back, like Andrew Knapp. Everyone in that organization is doing something wrong.
Don't even get me started on Andrew Knapp.
We don't need to talk about it.
We're not talking about Andrew Knapp. But Conway, one thing I do want to talk to you about, and you might hate me for this, let's get into some analytics.
You know I'm always down to talk analytics.
I mean, it's...
No, I'm always down.
Analytics... You know how I feel about analytics.
Oh, I've been made well aware.
We haven't on the show really talked about your feelings on analytics. Give us your thoughts.
You see, analytics, I believe in all professional sports. I believe in many, many professions. Analytics is something that has value. And I feel like with baseball, analytics, like there are advanced analytics and statistics in baseball that actually can tell you a decent amount about a player's performance. But I feel like some teams, I think the Phillies are absolutely guilty of this, are just like, we're going to put in this system where we're going to play the numbers the best we can, and we're just going to hope for the best. Like, there hasn't been a ton of, like, I guess going out and getting Bryce Harper and getting these talented guys, they're not playing to their strengths. They're just like, they're not playing good baseball due to this institutional philosophy that they have that's so rooted in analytics.
Yeah, the players that they have right now really, I think, just don't fit the molding that the Phillies are trying to keep together right now. I think it's just Bryce Harper is not an analytics kind of player. You have to throw him out there and you have to say, I want you to hit the ball as hard as you can, wherever you can. And with him, it's just we're really going to talk about barrel accuracy with Bryce Harper.
Come on.
Barrel accuracy should not be a thing. It's not. Baseball, baseball is such a different sport. You can't just break down a swing using numbers. I mean, you can look at where he's hitting the field, like hitting in the field and stuff, but you can't look at where the ball is hitting the bat for success. If you know, I don't know if I explained that very well, but you're catching my drift here. It's baseball is such a different game, and when it comes to the overall game of baseball, you have to bunt, and you have to hit and run. You have to hit behind the runner. You have to play situational baseball, and analytics is killing that part of the game. And we talked about this before on the show. The Dodgers killed us just playing fundamental baseball. We saw in that one game, they bunted, hit and run, stole bases, sack flies, and just killed the Phillies. They did a squeeze bunt, Conway.
That was insulting.
They did a squeeze bunt. No, I said good for you guys.
No, yeah, but it was just
Screw the Phillies. Good for you guys.
Yeah, man.
It's awful. It's awful to see that the Phillies are really they're forcing analytics down everybody's throats. And the players, they look like they're not having as much fun. And it's I have no more words.
Yeah.
I'm done.
I mean, you talk about how Bryce Harper is not like an analytics player. Like that guy, so much of his game, so much of what he puts out on the field comes from emotions and situational baseball. Like we see that his batting average with runners in scoring position, with runners on base, is way higher than when he's batting with nobody on, because infielders and fielders are more able to apply a shift to keep him from getting on base. So some people are like, well, why don't you just bunt it down the first base line?
Yeah.
Where hit it where the defense is it, and then take the base. But that is not welcome. That's not welcome in this clubhouse. I'm not saying, every time they put the shift on, you got to try and beat the shift. Like, he's a good enough baseball player that he's going to get hits.
Yeah.
Not so much this season. But he's a good enough player that he should be able to approach the game like that. Like, I can put down a bunt and maybe get on base.
It's a little bit of an oxymoron. I mean, with analytics, they're saying that with the shift, you don't want to change your swing or anything. But at the same time, they want them to get on base. And the way that you're going to get on base with the shift is hitting it where the defenders are not. So when they have the shift on to Bryce Harper, which is to his pull side, and he's a lefty, so that's everybody shifted over to the first base side. Drop a bunt down to the third base side and see what happens. I mean, if you're going to just hit into the shift, you might as well just try and drop a bunt down. You have a better shot. I mean, if we're looking at numbers, for crying out loud, you have to have a better shot at putting the ball on the opposite side of the field than when you just pull it into the shift.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it really is. The best way to describe it is an oxymoron.
Like, they really encourage... Well, home run hitting is really the hallmark of analytics. Like, they want you to hit as many home runs as possible because you score more runs when you hit more home runs. That's just how that works. But there is something to be said about when you're using these fundamental baseball plays, getting players on base and being able to move them around, even in situations where, because you're not going to be hitting home runs every night. There are some nights where you're not going to be hitting. And unless you're like a team like the Yankees with an absurd number of incredibly talented hitters where they're just quite literally just bombing the opponent. And that's not what the Phillies are. And the Phillies are never going to be that at this rate with the way they approach the game.
Yeah, I mean, home runs are great and all, but whatever happened to the sacrifice bunt?
I don't know. I feel like that's a good baseball play.
The sacrifice bunt, yes, you're giving the other team an out, but at the same time, you're moving a runner over, which gets them into scoring position, ideally. But when you're a Major League Baseball player, 90% of the time, I would say you can get the job done. You can get a bunt down. That's better than just swinging up there and striking out. because you're striking out is giving the opponent an out without working. When you're bunting, you're putting the ball in play and you're forcing a fielder to make a play. When you're forcing someone to make a play, that's when mistakes happen, and that's when you take advantage. There are more bad things can happen when the fielder has to run to go get the ball, field the ball cleanly, and make a perfect throw while the runner is still running. So it really is mind-boggling that this is kind of fading away from the game. Like it's really sad actually, because it's still, I'm even seeing it in high school fading out.
That's ridiculous. That's fundamental baseball plays. Like, you're not going to get anything done striking out all the time.
Yeah.
Like, it's good to go up there and lay down a sack bunt and just see if you can get to first base. Your main object is to get the ball in play and make sure that your runner on first can get over to second.
Yep.
And hell, you might end up on first because if you lay down a good enough bunt, you're going to put that position player, the pitcher, the catcher, whoever's going to get the ball, in a total bind. Because they're not, if you're able to catch them flat-footed, then you're probably going to be able to make that play. Like, I want to know, because analytics are so about on-base percentage, I want to know who gets on base more. A player who strikes out or a player who lays down a bunt?
It's a great question.
Who gets on base more?
It's a tough one, but I think I'm going to have to go with the guy that's bunting.
Oh, yeah, that's a shock. That's crazy to me.
I mean, then you forget sometimes that the sacrifice bunt is not to get on base. You are sacrificing yourself. You're giving the other team an out, which is so frowned upon in analytics for some reason that it's terrible. It's really, really, really sad to see that this part of the game is fading out. And my high school coach would never let that happen on his team.
No.
We bunted. I was the 4-hitter on my high school team, and I still had to drop down bunts.
Yeah.
Like, it's just what you had to do.
You got to manufacture runs.
That's what you have to do.
Something this Phillies team just simply doesn't do. But hey, all right, enough about the Phillies.
Thank God.
Yeah, we have an obligation to talk about them on every episode. Love the Phillies, but they drive me absolutely crazy. But while I am not excited about this Phillies season, I am excited about something else, Sam.
What is that?
We're debuting a brand new segment on the program called OTAs, Outlandish Takes Anonymous. Basically, the goal for the segment is we get you guys, the listeners, the fans, to send in your most outlandish takes, and you'll be entered to win a new Wolves of Broad Street sweatshirt. So, Seamus G, tell us a little bit of...
What's up, guys? I just wanted to say that if you enter your outlandish takes into any of our platforms in the comments section or review section, for example, for Apple Podcasts, you submit a review or a comment on an episode, and we'll enter you to win a sweatshirt with our new partner, Fingerprints Filthy. They have some great streetwear, and it's based out of Philadelphia. You gotta love the hometown crowd. I am working closely, and we have a great partnership with Fingerprints Filthy, and they have some great stuff. You should definitely check them out. Our logo will actually be on the back of the sweatshirt, which will be nice little collaboration. Fingerprints Filthy FPF will be on the front, and it will be a nice little sweatshirt. So make sure you enter, and we'll see who wins, and we'll announce the winner on this podcast.
Yeah, I'm very excited. Conway, we're moving on up in the world.
Yeah, I know. We're getting some nice, professional partnerships, some collaborations, sponsorships, the like.
Yeah, we got Wide Plank Floor Supply. I know we got Fingerprints Filthy.
I mean, look at that. Two sponsors, one episode. Look out.
Yeah, look out.
Look out, Bill Simmons.
So we're going to give
You're done, bud.
We're going to give you our outlandish takes just because this is a brand new segment. Conway, start us off.
All right, so here's the thing. Here's an outlandish take that I got for you. If Zach Ertz gets injured, then that will actually aid the Eagles' chances in winning the Super Bowl.
That is absolutely outlandish.
This is not my take. This is not me. This is from an anonymous source that I can't share. But here's the thing. I might come out and I might have to not agree with him, but I can see where he's coming from.
Why is that?
Well, Zach Ertz is in no doubt in anybody's mind. one of the best, if not the best, tight ends in the league. But when you look at what the Eagles have in Dallas Goedert, he does a lot of the same things that Zach does well. He's a great pass-catching tight end. His route running is sublime. He's got good speed and body strength. But he also brings a lot to the table that Zach doesn't, especially in the run blocking and just blocking in general, just being a more physical presence on the line of scrimmage. Because Zach is really just a bigger, glorified wide receiver, which is all well and good in the modern NFL. Like, I'm not going to be upset with having Zach Ertz. I love Zach Ertz. He's an incredible talent. But when you look at what we got in Dallas Goedert, I think Dallas Goedert could develop to be even better than Zach Ertz.
Yeah, that is an outlandish take.
I know. Got to open it up for you with a little bit, but I feel like there's some validity to these takes. So
Yeah, we gotta keep it outlandish, but also keep it a little bit realistic. It's anything is open for this segment. Anything's open. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna give you one. Being a baseball player right now is like being a grocery store associate.
Okay, I'm gonna need you to explain that to me.
So
that sounds a little like Colin Cowherd.
Our very own Seamus G is a grocery store associate at the moment, and he says that he has to write literally everything down that he does, and he's getting bogged down with it. So I think that being a baseball player, you're getting bogged down in the numbers so much that the system is now just totally broken. So, and we're talking about analytics again.
Oh God, why?
I mean, it's just I don't want to do it, but that's an outlandish take. Conway, what are your thoughts?
Here's the thing. It's a little... There's some dots to connect, but when you're able to look at it completely, I definitely see the validity in this take because people, especially... I guess if we could talk about the Phillies real quick. The players on the Phillies are so concerned with am I standing at the plate right? Like, oh man, if he throws a pitch down the middle, I'm not supposed to swing because it could be a ball, even though it's definitely not gonna be. Like, there's just so many things that these Phillies players have to worry about in their approach to the game that other teams aren't as burdened with, I feel.
Man, I got to worry about my barrel accuracy.
Oh, no,
man.
Man.
Oh, I'm sorry, Gabe.
I'm sorry, Mr. Kapler.
Oh, man.
We'll have an apology FaceTime.
Oh, my gosh. Can we just talk about how weird Gabe Kapler is?
Dude, he's so weird. So weird.
There's no other word for Gabe Kapler other than weirdly positive.
He's so creepy.
It is. It's really creepy.
I don't like him.
I don't like him either.
All right, moving on. OTAs, baby. Loving it. All right, if the Eagles don't have a bell cow back, then it hurts them in the playoffs and increases the risk of a Carson Wentz injury. Now, I know this is a safe space, but that is a god-awful take.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like having the sort of versatility that the Eagles' backfield has with a variety of skill sets actually aids them in the playoffs. Because going up against teams with different defensive strengths, I feel like the Eagles are going to be able to use our potent passing attack, but also the vast array of skills that we have. It'll really be matchup dependent. Like, there will be a team that doesn't cover the edges well. So we get Miles Sanders in there, and if he's able to bounce a run outside, then that's money. That's something maybe a Jordan Howard or someone else wouldn't be able to do as well.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a hard stance against you here, Conway. I think having a bell cow back really does just it takes the pressure off of the passing game. While this is a passing league, Carson Wentz had the ball in his hand 60% of the time last season. And that increases his risk for injury. And sometimes you just need to hand the ball off to a star running back. And I don't think the Eagles have a star running back right now. I think that they have a bunch of really, really good running backs, but they don't have a guy. They don't have a big star running back. Jordan Howard could be there. This is all the beginning of the season. We could have that. But as of right now, we don't have a starting running back that everybody knows he's the starter. We don't have a Le'Veon Bell. That's what I'm trying to say. Mm-hmm. So we don't have a Le'Veon Bell, and I think that could hurt the Eagles in the playoffs because they need to take the pressure off the passing game. They need to sometimes take the ball out of Carson Wentz's hands so that it decreases his risk for injury just because of the way he plays, and it's really hard to not have a good running game in the playoffs to take pressure off your quarterback.
Okay, yeah, I definitely see where you're coming from. I still disagree. I'm not 100% sold on the whole feature back concept because I just feel like having the versatility in that backfield is going to do better for us. But we're all entitled to our own opinions. We'll see who's right in the long run. We'll see if this running back by committee actually works out. And
this stuff just gets me so excited for Eagles football, man. There's so many things that we know are going to be good, but there's so many things that we have no idea what's going to happen. We have no idea what the running game is going to be like, even though we know that it's going to be decent. We have no idea who's going to be the star receiver, who's going to be Carson Wentz's favorite target besides Zach Ertz. And there's a lot of great positive questions out there for the Eagles. You don't see that too often with teams.
That's very true.
We always talk about how questions with a team are negative, but we have a lot of positive questions. There's a lot of anticipation here with this Eagles team, and I cannot wait until they hit the gridiron against the Redskins.
Neither can I, Sam. Let's talk about it. Let's shut down OTAs. It's a fun first segment for us. Please let us know your outlandish takes, either your own takes or the takes of your friends. If you want to roast somebody, we can make fun of their take on the program. And just remember, if you do send in an entry and you are selected and we talk about your take on the show, you will be entered into a drawing for a brand new, exclusive Wolves of Broad Street sweatshirt brought to us by Fingerprints Filthy, FPF, new sponsor. Very exciting stuff. So let's take it away from OTAs and our fantastic sponsor over at Fingerprints Filthy. And let's talk a little bit about the Eagles.
Let's talk some Eagles.
I love talking. You know I love talking birds.
So much better than talking about the Phillies.
It truly is. I mean, it's slow, and preseason games it's just like 3.5 hours of dreck. There's nobody good out there on the field. I can't stand to watch the preseason. The only time, especially with a team that is as talented as the Eagles, we know what we've got. It's not like I'm like, who's going to emerge? Because like a lot of our roster spots are set, except for really big question marks. But I can't help but take notice of our preseason when the injury bug starts to come around. And someone in particular went down with an injury, not a long-term one, only about 6 weeks for a broken wrist or something like that. But Nate Sudfeld went down. That's our backup. Yeah, and no city knows the importance of a good backup quarterback like Philadelphia. I feel like we have a very unique relationship with the backup quarterback.
Yeah, I mean, BDN, man.
Yeah, man.
Nick Foles. I mean, obviously, Nate Sudfeld is no Nick Foles.
No.
Nobody here is saying that. Nobody in the entire city is saying that. No. But he was looking good in that first half.
Yeah, he looked pretty decent. He had a deep ball touchdown,
yeah,
some promise out of the kid.
He was looking decent, and then he went down with seconds left in the half. They're talking about, the coaching staff is not talking about bringing in another quarterback. Dougie P was explicit about that. They said they are comfortable with who they got. They're comfortable with Kessler, which is a load of crap.
Yeah, that's completely ridiculous.
The fan base is really talking about two main guys, really, that they would like to see brought in. One of them is Sam Bradford.
No? I mean, actually, see, that's my knee-jerk reaction because Sammy Longsleeves and I have a complicated history. Namely, just that I hate him because he's a thief. He's stolen tens of millions of dollars from NFL franchises over the years. Hundreds. How many hundreds?
He's made $137 million playing in the NFL.
That's so much money for somebody who's literally done nothing of any substantial anything. Like, I don't even know what to say about this guy. This guy just rubs me the wrong way. But, I mean, he did spend a full offseason with Dougie P and OTAs and training camp because he was a last-minute trade.
He was.
After, when we found out Carson was healthy, Doug P sent him on his way to the Vikings, I think, right?
Yes, to the Vikings.
That was crazy.
Yeah, I mean, you look at Sam Bradford, and I think that he could be a decent option at backup.
Yeah.
Hopefully we wouldn't ever have to use him, but it's just a safe option. He knows the system, and he's a veteran. He knows... He gets it. He gets the NFL as average to below average as he is. The other guy, though, that we're talking about who is kind of the complete opposite of Sam Bradford is Colin Kaepernick.
That is a very intriguing name for the backup quarterback conversation because there's so much comes with it, you know?
A lot.
Like there's a lot, like so much stuff that doesn't even involve football. But I just want to take it and look at this solely through the lens of football to start. I want to look at the talent that he has, how he played before, and we also need to take into account that he hasn't played in 3 years, regardless of the circumstances under why he hasn't played. We just need to take that into account when looking at his name.
That's my biggest worry when it comes to Colin Kaepernick, and that's why I think I would rather have Sam Bradford come in as backup quarterback, just because Colin Kaepernick hasn't played a down of football in 3 years?
3 years.
3 years. He hasn't played a down of football. Yeah, he's been working out, but what is that? That doesn't mean anything.
It's not the same as playing a game.
It's not the same. I work out
Yeah,
every day.
I don't, but
I'm not ready to play in the NFL.
no.
Not even in the slightest. No. So you can work out. If you're not playing a down of football, you're not ready. You're not ready to go down and play football.
No, but at the same time, like that guy clearly had so many gifts, just natural abilities. I feel like I would like to give him a look. I would like to bring in like Brian Hoyer. Well, actually, we'd have to trade for him, so never mind. But we need to bring in like Sam Bradford, Colin Kaepernick, and like maybe one other guy, and just have a 1 day tryout. And whoever looks the best on that day, we sign him.
I would love to see that. Just have 3 guys come in: Sam Bradford, Colin Kaepernick, and then somebody else. Haven't really figured out who that is yet, but just make it like a competition.
Yeah.
Like who would have ever thought? Who would have ever thought about that?
Win your job. Win it here today, right now. And whoever looks the best, sign him to a 1 year deal.
Yeah, and whoever that is, I think I still would take Sam Bradford in that competition just because he's a vet and he's been playing football. Colin Kaepernick hasn't been playing football, and the other guy, well, he's probably just going to be a scrub. So, I mean, it's just it comes down to. It really comes – what it comes down to is Carson Wentz, honestly. I mean, if he gets hurt, then we need to have a viable backup. You know, it's obvious, really.
I really hate talking about just like the possibility of Carson Wentz getting injured. I hate that that's a conversation that we need to constantly have. It takes so much of the shine away from my hope for the season because people talk about like, oh, when Carson goes down. I'm like, that's not a thought that we should even be having. I understand it's important for the team to do that, but as fans, we can't approach it like that. We can't approach a season like that and expect to, have it turn out well. That's just not something that we as fans can do. Sure, the front office and the coaching staff need to find a viable replacement because Cody Kessler is not going to win games in the modern NFL or any stage of the NFL. He's just simply not good enough to get it done. So I understand that for the team and everybody, like that's a real concern that Carson could go down and get injured because it's happened. But I don't want to think about it anymore. I just want to get out and I want a completely unblemished view of what this Eagles team can be. I'm so tired of living in that what if. I just need the season to start and I need it now.
Yeah, you're right. Going back to what Dougie P said about Kessler, he said he's confident in Kessler. I think he was channeling his inner Gabe Kapler there for a second.
You think he might be infecting the minds of
Well,
other coaches
I don't
in
want
the
to.
city?
I don't want to say that.
Is that what you're saying?
No,
Is
I'm
that
just,
that
I'm
Kapler
just saying,
aura?
I'm just saying. I think he's being a little overly positive.
Yeah.
Just like Gabe Kapler. I think that he's just trying to boost up the guys in the locker room, which is totally fair. You can never knock Gabe Kapler for being like behind his guys and stuff like that. But I don't know. I don't have any faith in Kessler.
Yeah,
I have zero faith in Kessler.
I don't like how close Citizens Bank Park is to like the link in NovaCare. Like I feel like Kapler's presence might be like tainting the air supply. I feel like we need to move his office. Like we need to move it to Hong Kong. Get as far away from here as possible, out of the jet stream, so any like wafting fumes of horrendous positivity don't get in the mind of Dougie P. Because Dougie P is a player's coach, but he'll give you a kick in the ass.
Absolutely.
He's not going to throw anybody under the bus, but he's going to tell it to you straight. And Gabe Kapler's not going to do that. Doug P is a different breed, man. He's got the ability to get these guys to come in and play for him, get the best out of them, but have a good relationship. Like there are those coaches that, they bust on their players hard, and that's how they motivate them. Like there are different coaches, different styles of leading men. And I think Dougie P has got like the supreme level of that.
Yeah. Don't you just love how we keep coming back to the Phillies?
I hate it. I'm sorry. There's nothing I can do. It seeps into my mind.
Yeah.
And I can't get it out.
The Phillies just really have a hole in our hearts right now.
I had another nightmare.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We can talk about that later.
Yeah,
But we
it's
got
all right.
we got another quarterback to talk about here.
Oh, yes, we do.
We have another quarterback to talk
Hey,
about
he might be
here.
good enough to be the Eagles' backup. Maybe we can give him a call.
Well, not coward. Skip Bayless thinks he's a top 3 quarterback in the NFL.
Well, anybody that thinks that should be disbarred or fired or whatever.
Yeah. We are, of course, talking about Dak Prescott from the Dallas Cowboys. Can we get a quick boo?
Boo! I hate you, Dak.
Yeah,
Ugly ass.
he recently just turned down an offer of $30 million a year from Jerry Jones, and he wants $40 million a year.
That is ludicrous. That is insane. You don't deserve that. No, stop. You can look at his numbers. You can clearly see that the Cowboys' success is predicated by the play of their offensive line and Ezekiel Elliott. Dak Prescott he's an NFL quarterback. He can throw it to an open receiver. Wow, $40 million handed off to one of the top 5 running backs in the league behind one of the top 3 offensive lines. And let me dink and dunk my way down the field.
Yeah,
Give me $40 million. That's ridiculous, man. That's stupid.
I totally agree with you, but I have to say, Dak is playing the game right now.
I really hope they pay him.
I've
started GoFundMe right now.
He's vouching for himself. He saw what Carson Wentz, they got picked in the same draft. He said, hey, give me the same money, if not more, as Carson Wentz. They're nowhere near as good as Carson Wentz.
Yeah.
But who else is Dallas gonna pay? Who else is?
Yeah, because if he walks, who do they have?
Who do they have in quarterback? Who walks? No one.
Well, they can just tank.
They have to pay. They have to pay him.
No, they don't.
I mean, as much as I would love to see them go without a quarterback, they have no choice. They have to pay Dak Prescott $40 million.
Would you rather see the Cowboys pay Dak $40 million?
Yes.
Or trade him for something, or let him walk?
No, I would rather see them pay $40 million.
I want them to lock him up 10 years, $400 million.
I want them to lock
keep him
up.
in town as long as possible, please, because this guy.
He is average. He's an average quarterback, and they're going to pay him more than we're paying Carson Wentz.
Oh my God, that's like NBA money.
Yeah.
That's like what? That's like Steph Curry money. Dak Prescott's not Steph Curry. No, he's not.
This is completely laughable. I'm glad that we're laughing at the Cowboys' pain. I wouldn't want to do anything else on a Philadelphia sports podcast.
Me neither. I mean, if we want to keep laughing about NFC East quarterbacks, let's just run through the division real quick.
Right through Daniel Jones.
5 for 5 for 66 yards and a touchdown.
Woo!
Oh my God, please start him. Oh my God, I want Daniel Jones starting for the Giants before the first half of the season is over.
Wait, I got one more for you. And he's on the same team. Eli Manning.
Oh my God. And let me take a look at the Skins down south.
Kirk Cousins.
Kirk Cousins is gone. They got Case Keenum and Dwayne Haskins.
Oh man.
Oh, this has been fun. This has been fun.
This is great.
This is what it's like. This is what it's like to have a good football team. It's been so long. It's nice.
It's going to be a recurring theme. Dougie P guaranteed us.
This is our new norm.
This is the new norm.
This is our new norm.
The new norm for the Philadelphia Eagles is laughing at other teams' pain, and I can't wait.
They laughed at us.
They all laughed at us.
I'll be respectful about it as soon as I'm done being disrespectful, and I'll let you know when that is. Post haste. But I'm not done yet.
Moving right along from laughing at other teams' pain in the NFL, we got some Sixers news today, Conway.
Oh, absolutely, Samuel. The Sixers schedule for the 2019-2020 season has finally dropped. Little pick-me-up in the middle of August, It was a little bit of a slog, but, this is giving me a little juice. Looking forward to the finish line when the NBA season finally kicks off. The Sixers have earned a lot of respect in the national media. They have correct me if I'm wrong, 24 nationally televised games this season.
Yeah, I mean the Sixers are moving on up in the world, Conway. They're up there. They got, I think, the third most nationally televised games. They have 9 games on TNT, 9 games on ESPN, and 6 on ABC.
I mean, 6 games on ABC in the regular season.
Yeah.
That's legit. ABC is the flagship.
Yeah.
Like that proves that we are a marquee showing in the league this season.
Yeah, people want to watch the Sixers.
I mean, why wouldn't you? I mean, look at the lineup we've got. I mean, we've already talked about it at length.
yeah.
But I mean, when you look at the talent we're gonna have on the court, why wouldn't you want to tune in and watch?
yeah, I mean, you got Joel Embiid, stud, Ben Simmons,
Stud.
Tobias Harris.
He's gonna have. Okay, let me just talk about Tobias real quick. Tobias Harris, in this situation that he's in Philadelphia, this is the first time that he's truly been able to say this is home. They are not so for so much of his career, he's been such a journeyman. He's never had a secure place on the team, and now here he is with a supermax contract, and he is ready to ball out. He is ready to take a step in his game that I don't think a lot of people saw coming up until now when he's been given this opportunity to really showcase his talents.
Yeah, absolutely. I think Jimmy Butler leaving really opens up a lot of doors for Tobias Harris and the Sixers team in general. I think Jimmy was as good a player Jimmy was for the Sixers. I'm glad to see him go. I want to see more Tobias Harris. I want to see the ball in his hands more often, and I want to see him make some plays. I want to see him jive with Ben Simmons and with Joel Embiid and Josh Richardson. And this is a completely new lineup that I think Tobias Harris is going to absolutely thrive in.
Absolutely. I mean, he is probably the best three-point shooter on the floor, depending on what we have in Josh Richardson. He's probably the best three-point shooter on the floor, so we're going to look to him a lot for offense. Now, you mentioned Jimmy Butler and how you're happy to see him go. Well, Jimmy Butler's coming back to Philadelphia, Sam. And you can see him at the Wells Fargo Center on Saturday, November 23rd. It's a long ways away. It's like, what, 3 months away? 3 months and change? But I'm marking that on the calendar. That's
Absolutely.
appointment television. If I'm in town, I'm going to the game. I'm shelling out for the Ticks.
That's right.
For sure.
But that's not the date that I have marked in my calendar.
What date do you got marked
I
on the
have
calendar?
February 2nd marked in my calendar.
What goes on February 2nd?
Well, we all know the Super Bowl goes on. But the Sixers have a game in Miami that day.
Really?
Well, the Sixers have the day off on February 2nd. The next day they have the game against the Miami Heat. The Sixers, when the Eagles are in the Super Bowl, are gonna be at the Super Bowl cheering on the Philadelphia Eagles.
Well, that's just a dream trip. You know, you go down to Miami, great weather. Eagles in the Super Bowl, great football. Obviously a win, most likely at least. And then next day, after you celebrated the Eagles championship, go on down to South Beach. Go check out the Sixers. Go see them absolutely thump the Heat.
Yes.
With that championship,
I cannot wait.
with that championship vibe. Unless our players are a little dusty because they had the day off.
Yeah,
Big celebration. Maybe they're out a little late. I'm okay if we lose that game because of that. If I see Ben Simmons and Carson Wentz in the club in Miami after a Super Bowl victory, take the day off, boys.
Yeah.
This is chalk up the load management. That's a Philadelphia moment to go down in history, and I want it more than anything. I can see Joel Embiid and Fletcher Cox dancing together.
Oh man, that would be a sight.
Would that not be beautiful?
That would be a sight to see.
Oh my gosh.
I'm a big believer in destiny when it comes to sports, and this has got to be a top 5 moment. If it happens.
We're talking like it's already happened. But
Yeah,
oh
I know.
My goodness.
I know we are. But I think that this is just it's a marquee moment. It's there's no words for it, Conway.
Mm-hmm.
There's no words to describe what I'm feeling right now about that game. I mean, it's just awesome. It's just awesome.
And then, the marquee matchups don't stop there. Like, we've got a ton of really exciting matchups. We're getting the Lakers with, LeBron James and Anthony Davis. Kyle Kuzma swinging through the Wells Fargo Center on January 25th. And a couple weeks later, we get the new look LA Clippers. The Clips coming to Philly. Hell-bent, looking for a championship. This is going to be a hell of a game. They got Kawhi Leonard and Paul George, Pat Bev, roughing guys up at point. Like, that's going to be a grinder of a game. That is going to be so fun to watch. Two teams with the amount of defensive talent on the floor, it's going to look like the 80s or 90s.
Yeah, we talked a lot about how the Sixers match up in the East Coast. Haven't talked a lot about how much the Sixers match up against the West Coast. Mm-hmm. And I think it's a little dicey.
I mean, when you look at this Western Conference, like, it's just absolutely stuffed to the gills with talent. Like, it's just ridiculous, the players that they've got over there. And just the teams are so much better than, like, the average team in the West is better than the average team in the East. There's no question about that. There's no debate there. The Western Conference has, been the stronger conference for a long time now. But I still think that this Sixers team is unreal. I mean, but if we were in the West, would they be looked at as more of like a Utah Jazz?
Yeah, I think so.
You think so? With
with their defense, I think what gives them the best opportunity to be successful against West Coast and the most successful team on the East Coast to beat the West Coast teams is their defense. I think it is the Sixers because defense wins championships, Conway. We've said it before, and I'll say it again. Defense wins championships. The only team on the East that's going to be able to stop the West Coast teams, the Western Conference teams, are going to be the Sixers just because of purely their defense. We'll worry about offense when we get there. I know I sound like the Phillies again with pitching, but we're not going to go there.
Oh, no.
I'm talking about...
Stop it.
I'm talking about...
Stop it now.
I'm talking about the defense.
Oh, God, no.
I'm talking about defense right now, and I think the Sixers are the best competition that the Western Conference teams will have.
I definitely agree. I feel like Sixers coming out of the East, like we've got a good shot making it to the finals. Got our schedule. I mean, it's a long 82-game season. It's a grueling season, like getting out there and playing all those basketball games. Like that's going to take a toll, but I feel like we've got the depth. And I think Brett Brown is the right coach to lead this team. I don't care about the modern NBA being so three-point driven. When you look, people are like, oh, who's going to shoot all the threes? Golden State pioneered the three-point movement in the NBA, really. I mean, there were other teams like, the 7 seconds or less Phoenix Suns or whatever it's called, whatever their nickname was. But high-octane offense is something that is becoming more and more commonplace in the NBA with the emphasis being put on those three-pointers. Golden State was like 7th in the league in threes last year, and they still went to the finals. We don't need to be a crazy three-point shooting team jacking up all these threes if we're not going to make the threes. Like, I don't need to see those volume shooting numbers. Playing this game with these tall, skilled players, because people talk about moving towards small ball. People are just moving away from unskilled big men. We have skilled big men on this roster. That's what Ben Simmons is. Ben Simmons is a skilled big man. He's good enough to be a point guard. That's how skilled he is at 6'10". So having these players with this immense amount of length and this talent on the ball, being able to put the ball on the floor and dribble and maybe even shoot a mid-range jumper.
Oh, man.
Maybe, just maybe.
Oh, man.
I think the Sixers team is going to be unreal. And I can't wait to tune into these national televised games because I'm going to be able to get them at school.
Me too.
But I'll probably, I'm excited. I'm really excited to see what the Sixers can do.
Yeah, I could not be more excited for a Sixers season. I thought I was excited last season. I was excited last season. I'm even more excited about this season, man.
Our roster to start last season, when I was thinking we could seriously win a championship, is hot trash compared to the roster that we have right now.
That's totally
There's no
fair.
question about that.
Totally fair.
No question about that at all. I mean, we obviously have so much to look forward for the Sixers season. I could not be more stoked. Let's go, boys.
Let's do it.
Let's go, boys. But we got the Doghouse segment coming up right now. My personal favorite segment on the show because, I just love ripping on people. Sam, who you got in the Doghouse today?
Billy Bean is in my doghouse
Billy
today.
Bean is
Billy
in your
Bean.
doghouse.
Billy Bean, who was famed from the movie Moneyball. He is the GM for the Oakland Athletics. And this is really where analytics and the talk of analytics was born. And I just want to put him in the doghouse every day of the week because analytics are ruining baseball. And Billy Bean started that trend. Hollywood started that trend, but Billy Bean was the start of it all.
So what you're telling me right now is Brad Pitt ruined the Phillies?
Yes.
Okay, I'm comfortable with that.
Yeah.
I just wanted to make sure that we were on the same page because I've been thinking this for years.
Brad Pitt, if you're listening by any chance, you are in the doghouse, and I'm not taking it back.
Yeah, no, irrevocable. Once you're in the doghouse, you can't get out.
No.
Yeah, I mean, you got to prove yourself to get out. Brad Pitt's not doing it.
No, he's not.
This new Tarantino movie he had was not great.
No, it wasn't.
Not a great movie.
Not great.
But we can move on from
Yeah,
that.
Conway, who do you have in your doghouse?
I got Nate Sudfeld in the doghouse
Interesting.
because he went and he ruined my summer even more. Because already we're talking like, oh, Carson might get hurt. Oh my God, Carson, bubble wrap him. Don't play him in the preseason. Oh my goodness. And now it's just there's even more reason to be worried. Because if Carson goes down, we got Cody Kessler. Come on, Nate. You got one job. You got one job, and that's to be a backup quarterback. And you can't do that with a broken wrist. You just can't.
Come on, you don't have any faith in Kessler?
No.
Dougie P has faith in Cody Kessler.
Well, Dougie P might be, I don't like where he's coming from on this because I don't think he knows what he's talking about when it comes to this Kessler guy. I think he's just trying to shut us up. And I'm fine with that from Dougie P because he's won. He's been there. He's done it. If he wants to be like, hey, guys, shut up about this, like I got this covered, I'll be like, you know what, Doug, I trust you. So I'm going to let Doug figure it out. I'm going to let Doug and Howie work their magic. It'll be okay. But Nate Sudfeld right now is in my doghouse because, dude, why would you take such a nice thing that we had and just toss it in the dumpster with a broken wrist? Why do you got to stress me out before the start of the season? I don't need this. I already got high blood pressure. It's not good for me. It's going to drive me nuts. I can't be stressing about Carson like this. So, Nate, get healed up. Get your bum wrist fixed. Get out there and hold that clipboard and do your job. All right, that's going to do it for the doghouse. That's going to do it for the show. I just want to say thank you to you all for tuning in. Shout out Reed Street, giving us the new, improved, and only theme song of the Wolves of Broad Street podcast. Also want to give a big special thank you to Fingerprints Filthy and Wide Plank Floor Supply for their support of the show. Means the world. Check them out. They got great products both in the garment and hardwood flooring industry. Great sponsors to have, and thank you all.
Yeah, make sure you guys follow us on Instagram and Twitter. Subscribe to us on YouTube. Make sure you send us your OTAs so that we can feature them on the next episode for a chance to win a Fingerprints Filthy hoodie. Seamus G, close it down.